78.6 FM, Yomatan, positive vibes with Winsome. Now, there's one Saturday a month that I get really excited about, and that's the Saturday that I get to bring my big brother on the show and talk about something cool. Mr. G.
Hey.
Let's go.
It's in the house.
Mr. G's in the house. Hey, we got our mask on, man, just for safety purposes. So if you sound a little muffled, forgive us for the folks listening in. And if you're listening to Mr. G, I want to tell you, I didn't tell you this before the show.
Oh, okay.
So I was talking to a friend that listens in here in Yomatan. And she goes, your show today, 5. I said, yes, today is my show. She says, is Mr. G going to be on the show? I was like, yeah, let me tell him you got some love out there,
How
man.
about that?
I was like, yes, Mr. G's going to be on the show. I didn't tell her what we're talking about. So, ma'am, if you're listening, Mr. G's here. It's game time, and this is our show. I'm so excited to be back.
I'm glad you are back.
Man, Mr. G.
It's been a little while.
Man, how was your week?
It was a good week. We actually got a lot of things done and productive.
Yeah.
And got a few packages that are going through that really needed to get some commander support. And so, yeah, it was all in all, it was a good productive week.
That's what's up, man. This is my first full week back in uniform. Mm-hmm. Got to see my big brother a couple of times, man. This is an amazing opportunity to pick up where we left off the last time. Mr. G, what are we talking about today?
You know, we're going to talk about finding your why.
Let's go.
You know, because we already talked about start with why.
Right.
And we're going to go with, we're going to talk about that a little bit just to recap it.
Okay.
But we're going to, what if people don't know what their why is?
Right.
So Simon Sinek, he put out this book, and it really is a great book.
Yes.
Talks about finding your why.
So we're telling people to start with why, but what if I don't know where I'm starting because I don't know what my why is,
Exactly.
Right? Let's go.
Exactly. So it's just a matter of, because start with why made the case for why. Mm-hmm. Made the case, why do we have to start with why?
Right.
Okay. And we talked about that a lot, and so forth. Talked about the golden circle,
right?
And how why is in the center, how is next, and then what are on the outside, right? So that would make the case for why. But we really, once you have you understand the concept of starting with why. Now you got to find your why.
Can't get started if you don't know what a starting point is.
That's right.
Let's go.
Right.
Speaking of getting started,
yes.
We always start off, guys, we've been doing this thing for the longest, where we start off with the thumb ball first, and then we end with the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency Love.
Yes.
I think I forgot them once in the last couple of weeks, so forgive me. Still love you guys. I haven't forgotten about you. I know that this month is very important to us. Mm-hmm. This is the month of mental health awareness, right? Had a different ball for that.
Yeah.
I had a stress ball. The intent is the red ball. So for the Silver Line team, Trainers Warehouse, forgive me. We're going to repeat this one. This ball that we're throwing around today, this is the getting to know you ball. We all know Mr. G. We're going to get to know him a little bit more. 3 rounds?
3 rounds.
3 rounds. All right, I'm going to toss to Mr. G. Wherever his thumb lands, he's going to answer that question. Oh, I threw him a big one that time.
A big one.
Let's go.
Yes, indeed. Okay. A turning point in your life.
Let's go.
A turning point in your life. Oh, my goodness. There are so many twists and turns that I've had in my life, but a turning point in my life would definitely be, I would say, graduating navigator school.
Nice.
Being able to start your career out and get up in the air and fly. And it was a definite turning point in my life. Because it started your Air Force career, and ultimately it landed me here.
That's what's up. So that was the start of everything.
The start of everything.
Let's
yes,
go.
Indeed. Here we go.
All right, here we go. What makes you happy despite any mood? I can't use my cheat code, which is my kids, right? That's my cheat.
Oh, yeah, that's your cheat.
I think secondary would be Scooby.
Scooby, yeah.
My dog.
Yes.
That's that unconditional love.
Unconditional.
So no matter how I'm feeling, I could be grumpy, mad, angry. Even if he does something silly, he just has that cute face, man.
It makes you happy.
It makes me happy, man.
Yes, it does.
Also, walking in the room where you are.
Oh, thanks,
man,
brother.
let me tell you, I don't care what kind of day I'm having. When I walk in there and talk to you, you always lift my spirits, man.
Absolutely.
I was telling Mr. G, and we got time. So even on Friday I had one of those mornings where a curveball was thrown at me.
Oh, yeah.
And an opportunity was in its way. So the curveball presented an opportunity. And I was a little hesitant about the opportunity, but lo and behold, when I looked in the doorway, and I shared this with him, but I want to share this publicly. When I looked in the doorway and I seen you over there, it just gave me strength, man.
Amen.
So I want to tell you, and if you haven't heard me say it before like this, I'm so grateful for you.
Oh.
And that just moved me, man. And it was like power. I just had a surge of energy. And I know you've seen it.
I saw it.
I looked at him and I was like, let's go.
Yes, indeed.
So despite any move, Mr. G, you've never let me down. And thank you.
Well, your message was very powerful on Friday. And I know that it was extemporaneous.
Yeah.
But you tied together some pieces so well.
Yes, sir.
And you visibly, I was looking at the audience, you visibly shook a lot of people.
Thanks, big brother. Thank you.
You made an impact. So
thank you.
It was great.
This dude, man, I'm telling y'all, hey, get y'all a Mr. G. If you don't have one already, get you one. All right, you ready?
Here we go.
Round 2.
All right. A new skill you'd like to have with no effort.
Yeah, you heard this one before, right? A new skill that you'd like to have with no effort.
No effort.
Let's go. It's just given to you.
So
what you got?
for me, it would be scuba diving.
Nice.
It's great. There is a little bit of effort putting your gear on and getting it down into the water. But once you're in the water, you're floating along. Yeah. You're looking at things. Yeah. It's a whole entirely different new world down there. So very, very little effort, So, but it's a skill that is just wonderful. So it's really, really good.
So Mr. G would like to be able to just go out there and scuba diving happens automatically.
Absolutely.
Let's go. I like it.
Here we go.
All right, bam. Go with my right thumb this time.
All right.
Who did you look up to as a kid? So you heard my story Friday.
Yes, I did.
So for me, at home, I had to kind of find those heroes.
Yes, you did.
The one person who I really enjoyed watching just because of their energy when I was watching them on TV, and you heard part of that story, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Oh, yes.
And let me tell you what I loved about Deion. His energy, the swag on the field, the dance. I used to love the dance.
Mm-hmm.
The dancing, it was hilarious. The video he came out with, just his energy was what I used to try to emulate on the field when I was learning to play football.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't even in the position. It was just the swag that he had out there. So someone who I looked up to as a kid would have to have been someone I watched on the screen and enjoyed seeing him on the field every time.
That's right.
And that was Mr. Deion Primetime Sanders. Yeah.
Primetime.
That was my nickname for a while, too.
Yes,
all right, big brother.
The age you'd most want to relive.
The age you'd most want to relive. What would that be? What age would you want to live over?
Oh, my goodness. It's kind of funny, actually, but I think I would really, other than my body, I would really like to live in my 50s again.
Okay.
Start over at 50. I'm 56 right now, but start over at 50.
Okay.
And the reason why, because most people want to go back to when they're young.
I was about to say that. I said, you want to start at 50? Let's go.
Yep. Okay. Start at 50. And the reason why is because I know so much more now than I did when I was in my 20s.
Nice.
I've grown so much and had so much experience.
Nice.
That if I had to get 6 years back and start that over again, oh my gosh.
Let's go.
So great.
I have never heard anyone say that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone does normally go back to high school, 20s or something. Wow. My man said the wisdom that he's picked up at 50, if I can go back to 50, knowing what I know now.
Knowing what I know now.
Let's go, Mr. G. I like that.
Here we go.
I like that. Here we go. Bam. Last time you said sorry and meant it.
Oh.
That's actually a good one.
It is a good one.
Maybe 3 weeks ago, I had an encounter, really close friend of mine, and I said something. I guess I didn't think about how she may have interpreted it. And for me, it was fine. It's a comment. And it shook her. And you realize, when those moments of power in your words. Because I can joke with you about certain things.
Oh, sure.
And you would be like, that was a joke. But if someone's never heard me joke before, it's serious. So I noticed there was a distance, a time that went by. I hadn't heard from this person like I normally do. It's like clockwork. So I reached out and I just asked a very open question. I said, did I say something or do something to upset you? And when she told me and she explained it to me and the way she interpreted it, I never want my message to not match my intent.
There you go.
And so I said, that is definitely not how I meant that. And I'm so sorry. I was kidding. And it was in the moment. I didn't think. I am sorry. it shifted. It was, of course, she was like, okay, I thought you was being a jerk. Or, right? I said, that's not me.
That's not you.
Never me. And so that was the last time I said I'm sorry and truly meant it, because that hurt me. I was I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And before I forget, and because I never want to forget this, and I'm going to send this to my cousin when we finish, even though he had his own family, another person I looked up to growing up was my uncle.
Oh, yeah.
My Uncle Jeff passed away while I was in the service.
That's right.
And without having a father figure around, he stood in the place a lot. You get a bad grade, you knew he was going to call you.
Yes.
One of those. So even though he wasn't around as a father 100% of the time, I knew that I could call him if I was going through, and he'd fill that gap. So, yeah, I had to think about that. Did we go 3 rounds already?
Yeah, we went 3 rounds.
Hey, had to bring it back. Hey, guys. Thumball.com, Trainers Warehouse. This is some real stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, these conversations are real. We didn't practice this, right?
Not at all. It's totally off the cuff.
Totally authentic.
Totally off the cuff.
So 78.6 FM Yoma Time, Positive Vibes, Winsome. We got about 4 minutes left. I'm going to let Mr. G start up. Mr. G, I didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
No, not a problem at all. Not a problem at all.
Tell us how we find our why.
So what Simon does in his book, he starts out with a few introductory remarks and stories, okay?
Yeah.
And one of the stories that struck me was there was a guy sitting down next to the co-author of the book and a guy that works with Simon. And he starts talking, the guy is tired. He just wants to go to sleep, just be left alone. But he gets sit next to that guy, okay? And that guy wants to talk about what he does.
Okay.
And so he talks and talks and talks. And he happens to be a steel maker, okay? And he's in Sweden. And so he's making steel, and he talks about how the steel is, and it's lighter and everything like this. And so, after a while, the guy turns around and looks to him, and he says, okay, I can understand what you do, but why do you do it?
Got him with that question.
Got him with the question. Yeah. And so he stammered for a little bit. And so through the course of the discussion, they eventually figured out the reason why he'd been in the steel business for 23 plus years was because not only did he like the product that he was building, but it was the reason why he was building it. He was building lightweight steel so that he could save the planet.
Wow.
Save the planet. If you have lighter weight steel that produces less pollutions, it's easier to make. It produces less pollutions for the cars and so forth that are going around. And just overall, he's wanting to leave a planet in better condition for his children than what they would be normally doing now.
So he had to land on that, though. So it wasn't something that once he pieced it all together.
Right.
Wow.
So he had to tell that story and figure it out. And that's the real thing is people don't know their why.
There it is.
And so what we're going to talk about in the next section is we're going to talk about the process of finding your why.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
So he starts out the book with a section, the first chapter 3 actually, because first chapter is a review of the start with why.
Gotcha.
And then the second chapter starts talking about hiring processes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Looking at people who share the company's values. When you ask them, why do you want to be a part of this company? Then you really need to look at why they are.
There it is. What's the answer?
Right. Exactly. What's the answer? Is it, hey, I want to come to to Okinawa because it's a great place to travel from, and do all this, that, and the other. As a matter of fact, we're hiring a librarian, and if a librarian got on the interview, we got some interviews coming up. If they got on the interview and said, I really love how I can open up a person's mind to something they never knew about. And just let them explore.
Yes.
Turn on the curiosity.
Yes.
If that was the kind of person,
Let's go.
Yeah, boom, you're hired right now.
Hey, don't say nothing, say less.
That's it. That's it. So, but we'll go over in chapter 3. We're going to go over a little bit of the whole process and everything.
I like that.
So
I like that. So find your why.
Find your why.
Simon Sinek told us to start with why. So Mr. G's going to help us find it. Hey, 78.6 FM Yoma Time. Winsome Cully, my big brother, Mr. Scott Garricky. Today we're talking about find your why. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere. Let's go. 78.6 FM Youngstown, positive vibe to Winsome. We are back. During the break, me and Miss G was quick chatting, but we didn't forget what we're talking to you about, because we're telling you how to find your why.
Find your why.
Let's go,
yes, that's
Mr.
right,
G.
brother. So, after we know the importance of starting with why, we have to find our why. And some people just don't know where to start. Right. So what Simon did is he came up with a process whereby we could go step by step through the discovery process, and be able to come up with a why statement.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's the ultimate goal of the whole project, the whole endeavor, is to come up with your why statement.
Got you.
Okay, so one of the first things you need to do is the person needs to think about stories. Okay, what kind of stories were the stories that impacted your life the most?
Gotcha.
Things that were good and things that were bad. Okay, stories from your home, from your work. They bring to light those things that make you the best version of you. Okay, what were those stories like, and what were the contributions? Okay, the next thing that you need to do is you need to find a partner or a facilitator. Okay, so just talking individually, say for instance, you need to find somebody that's going to be objective and listen and ask really good questions.
Gotcha.
Okay, so they need to ask what questions. And when I say what questions, it's like, what was it that you did that made you feel this way? Okay, what is the experience that you absolutely loved? You know, what happened and how did it make you feel? How did this experience affect you?
Got you.
Into what you have become today. Okay, so it's the whats. They're getting the facts, and those are coming from your temporal lobes. That's your file cabinet of experiences and facts. It's not your prefrontal cortex, which is more along your emotions and choice making.
Got you. Facts versus emotions.
That's right.
Got you.
So now you come up with 5 of the stories that have the most impact on your life. Okay, so once you've come up with those 5 stories, both good and bad, or doesn't really matter, what you're going to be doing at that point, your partner, you're going to be talking to that partner. Okay? The partner's going to be listening.
Got you.
And the thing that he needs to listen or she needs to listen for are themes. Okay? And a theme is just something that I helped somebody in this situation. It made me feel such and so. Okay. And then if he's told another story that he was helping somebody, well, then contribution seems to be the thing that is helping, assisting people. That's a theme. Okay. Then what they're also going to be looking for, what you could do to help with that process, by the way, is take a piece of paper and fold it, put a line down the middle. Okay. On the one column, you're going to put facts. Got you. Okay. And then the other column is meaning. In other words, how did it make you feel? Got you. Okay. Yep. So facts of the story, meaning. Facts of the story, meaning. Got you. And then that way you can go down it. And so once you have those threads, those themes through the whole thing, now you got to look at them and say, are they a unique contribution? And what was the impact? Okay. So contribution, impact. What was the contribution that you did? And how did it impact others? Okay. Okay. And really seek out the emotion of the contribution. Okay. Okay. And the impact is the impact, but the contribution, how did that make you feel? Right. You know, when you did that, how did it make you feel? Because what's going to happen next is you and your partner, now that you have these things identified, are going to go back and you're going to draft your why statement.
Based on the information that you guys have been plugging away at.
Exactly.
Got you.
Exactly. Okay. You're going to look at the contribution and you're going to see what the impact of that contribution was. Okay. There's a format for that statement. Okay. And the format is to blank so that blank. Okay. The first blank, the first blank, to blank, that first blank is your contribution. The second, so that blank, is the impact. Now, as I say that, listen to what Simon Sinek's why statement is. His individual why statement. Gotcha. To inspire others to do the things that inspire them so that together we can change the world.
Got you.
See what I'm saying?
Got you.
So that's the drafting of that statement.
Give it to him one more time. So to
contribution.
There it is.
So that impact.
Got you.
Okay. Now, what you're going to do is your partner and you are going to spend 5 minutes writing a why statement. Okay. Just 5 minutes. Don't overthink it. Just keep it simple. Okay. Keep it simple. And you're going to both do that. And then you're just going to put it aside for a couple days. And you're just going to let time go by, let it bake. That's what I always call it. Let it bake for a little bit. Let it bake. Let it sit. And then you let your subconscious think about some more things.
Got you.
And then after that, come back and refine it.
Nice.
Okay? Come back, refine your why statement. And you're looking for basically how that statement makes you feel. Okay? It's one of those things where you have to dig deep and really have the right words.
Gotcha.
Okay? It's not how it sounds.
Right.
It's how it feels.
I'm glad you said that, because someone might have something that doesn't sound great.
Right.
And they're like, I don't want that because it doesn't sound cool. But if you read that statement and it fits you.
Yes.
You love the way it makes you feel. This is truly what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's exactly it. And one of the things that he puts in his book, he says, if you've written your why statement and you would not tattoo it on your body, then it's not the right words yet. You got to go back and work on it.
Got you. To inspire snakes, I will. No, I don't want that.
No, that's not it.
I respect it. So basically, it's when you say something earlier, you kind of had to split it up. You talk about facts versus feelings.
That's right.
Right? And then tying it together, they both play a part, because the facts in your life and how they make you feel are actually going to combine to give you your contribution. How do those experiences make you feel? And what is it that you pulled away from it and made you who you are?
That's exactly right.
Let's go. I like that.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So once we do that and we have our why statement, there's only one why statement for you. There's not multiple why statements, and the why statements don't change. It's static. It's what it is for your entire life.
Wow.
Okay. So that's the way it's meant to be.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, say if somebody my age comes around and says, well, I didn't think about this or that, and my why is not, it's probably changed a little. No, Simon says, you probably didn't have the right why to begin with.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be something that is lasting.
Got you.
Throughout your entire life. So
it's a continuous theme.
It's a continuous theme.
Not just the temporary. It wasn't the theme of my 30s was.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
So now that's for the individual.
Yeah.
And so chapters 4 and 5, they basically go into the tribe approach. What happens when you have an organization or a unit or a team that doesn't know their why? They're going to go through the same process. Okay. They're gonna basically try to gather people together, 20 or 30. You're gonna talk about the start with why and the importance of why, and then what you're gonna end up doing is breaking up into groups of 10 or less, because you know how people in groups of 10 or less will more likely to talk than people if it's over that amount. So
large groups, I don't have to say anything.
I'm not saying it. Somebody else will say something.
Exactly.
So basically they get together. He talks about the setting. You got to have the horseshoe seating and everything so that people see each other. You got to have a whiteboard. You got to have the facilitator up there listening and marking down the two sides of the columns and everything. And he talks all about that. And basically what it is if the company already has a why, okay, so the unit or the team underneath that then has a nested why. Okay, a nested why.
That to me. Nested why.
A nested why is one that folds under the organization's why.
Gotcha.
It contributes to that why. That team does something particular for that company. And so their why has to support the company's why.
I like it. So basically, you find a way to make the team's why align with the company's mission.
That's exactly right.
Let's go.
That's exactly right.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let's see. It talked about finding the facilitator, the right facilitator, because you need a right facilitator for each of the groups and teams. You don't want the wrong person up there doing it.
Gotcha.
And then just the people themselves. The people themselves have to have a vested interest in the company.
Okay.
They're not new hires, or anything like that. They're people that have been around, seen it, and are vested and have the right attitude.
Okay.
Okay. Ones that are willing to contribute, willing to support, and willing to just really open up.
Yeah.
Because the questions that are going to be asked are, tell me what makes you feel the most proud of working for this organization. And talk about a story like that. Tell me what specific contribution this organization makes and the impact it has on others. You know what I'm saying? And what is that impact? What is the overarching goal for this company?
Gotcha.
And the impact that it's having on the world.
Yeah.
Okay. So once you have those questions out there and you identify the themes, then the group then goes through and makes their draft why statement.
Okay.
Okay. The rest of the book just really talks about the particulars. They talk about taking action, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but it talks about taking action. And what do you do with the stories that didn't make the cut?
I was going to ask you.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, what those end up doing, they're valued. Okay, they're valuable. They still have value, even if they didn't come into the other.
Right.
What you do is you take those stories and you tweak them into the hows. Okay, the hows of the why, because you've got the basically you're going to tweak them into actions that support the why. Okay, the contribution. Okay. So those extra stories are really good. You pick out those themes that are a part of that, and then you put that against the contribution. Okay. And then once you add those into the contribution, or if they don't fall into the contribution, then you make them part of the actions that lead to the contribution.
So it's like having the main body and pieces of the main body that still contribute to the main body.
Yes.
But so in other overarching Cully terms, I got my unit mission, and this is my team mission.
That's right. And
while my team is doing this, these are the things that are important to the team to accomplish their piece.
Yes.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Hey, 78.6 FM, finding your why, coming right back after these messages. Don't go nowhere. .6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I got my big brother, Mr. Garricky, we are talking about Find Your Why.
Find your why.
Mr. G, where we leave off at, big brother?
Well, I tell you what, the last segment, what we talked about was the whole process.
Right.
The process of finding your why.
Right.
Not only just your individual why, which is, you only have one and it's unique. But we also talked about the tribe or the team or organization or units, finding why and how to do that. The book goes into much greater detail and actually has a section on facilitator notes and really if you're going to lead a session, this book is what you need. It talks about everything. It talks about the chair settings. It talks about music. It talks about making sure that everybody's comfortable, and all that kind of thing. Icebreaker statements, we throw the thumb ball around.
Let's go.
I tell you what, that is a really, really good, really good icebreaker.
Thanks,
so it is really awesome. So, but the last chapter, chapter 7, it talks about taking action. Okay. So do the things that you believe. Once you have that why statement and you know that you can contribute your contribution to the world and the impact that it's going to have, then you have to act on it. Okay. So you have to find those actions and do those actions and things that support who you say you are.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So share your why.
Yep.
It's kind of funny. You sit down next to people and or you meet somebody for the first time, and what's the first question they usually ask you?
How are you doing?
How are you doing? That is a very good question. But after we got through that one, what's the next question?
How you doing? You may have to help me. That's my favorite question.
What do you do?
Oh, what do you do?
What do you do?
I've noticed that. It kind of feels like people are trying to measure you based on that question, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Yes. It's mostly a guy thing because we're identified by what we do.
There
right?
it is.
Women are identified by their relationships.
Right.
Okay. So but for us, it's definitely so what do you do?
I cannot remember. And you tell me if I'm tripping. I don't think I ever asked that question.
Really?
I do not. I think I'll ask for us.
Okay.
What unit do you
Right.
work in?
Right.
Maybe that's our equivalent.
That's equivalent.
Okay. That's
Because
probably
once
what
you
it
know the equivalent, if you're working in the AMS, you know what they do.
That's probably what it is. Then.
Yeah.
Hey, what unit you with? Okay. That's
the comm squadron. Oh, okay. That's the reason why our internet's so slow. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Almost lost my headphones. Yes. Okay. My bad. Go ahead.
So anyway, no. So you got to share your why, and so when somebody asks you what do you do, and you come back with, well, I help people with their careers and get further in their careers because they're inspired to do something, and I'm helping them do it.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you saw that post a few weeks back, Mr. G. I put someone asked me what I do for a living. I said, I try to take care of people's minds and hearts.
There you go.
And they couldn't figure it out, right?
Yeah.
It was eating them up too.
Yes.
I said, I'm responsible for the hearts and minds of the personnel and people around me.
Yes.
And that is my mission.
That's your mission.
And here we go, people like, so what do you do?
There you go.
I love it.
That's it. That's
Okay.
exactly. You got the right theme on that one.
I love it. Let's go.
The book also has a facilitator section, keeping the why alive.
Nice.
It helps people and companies keep on track. Okay, they so that their why doesn't get fuzzy. Okay, and then there's a frequently asked questions, which are really, really good.
Nice.
A lot of good questions in there.
Okay.
But the reason why we have a why, and just one why, is, and the reason why we need to discover it is because all our whys are positive and generative. Okay? Positive and generative, meaning they're positive, they do something that's going to improve something, and it's generative in the fact that it's going to generate action in impact.
Got you.
Okay? They serve to make a positive contribution. And the reason why they serve to make a contribution is because when you do your why, it's in service to others. Okay? And that is fulfilling.
Got you.
There are things that we do that make us happy. Okay? When I go to Coco's and I get a pedicure,
Let's go.
They call it a man pedicure, but
It's the manicure.
It's a manicure. But when I go, that makes me happy.
That's
okay?
Yeah.
And then I'll be happy for another hour or two after
go.
thinking about that, and stuff like that. That's great.
Yes.
But if I know that I'm inspiring somebody to take on education, get a degree, that is so much more fulfilling.
Yes.
And you go home at night and put your head down on the pillow and say, it doesn't matter how much money I have. It doesn't matter how all the friends I have.
Right.
It doesn't matter about my status.
Right.
What matters is about that other person.
That person whose life I changed today.
Yes.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
If you can attach your why to changing the lives of others and improving and leaving the world better than you found it.
Yes.
Mr. G.
That's it.
Come on, man.
That's what it's all about.
78.6 FM Yoma Time. Positive vibes of Winston. I'm blessed and always honored to have my big brother, Mr. G, here with me. Today we're talking about finding your why. Mr. G, you went over the steps. You did a quick rehash of start with why.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to start if you don't know what it is, right?
Why is it important to start with why?
Why is it important? And how do you find that? So we talked about individually and in a group setting.
Yep.
Ms. G, I'm going to ask you a question. I just want to get your mind on this real
Sure.
quick. So if I have someone I work with using these examples and they're struggling at work because they're struggling to find their why, how do I approach that conversation to that friend?
Okay. So one of the first things that I would do is I would set aside some time.
Okay.
I would say, hey, look, this is a conversation that needs to happen, and we need to devote a certain amount of time for it. Okay, so when is it free on your schedule?
Let's go.
And you work out a time for that. And once you have that, then you sit down and you go through the process.
Okay.
You start asking them open-ended questions. Okay, no yes or no's.
Yep.
It's got to be what story or what happened that made you feel XYZ.
Got you.
Okay.
So ask the what questions, not the why questions.
There you go.
Remember what Mr. G said, if you're just listening in, those what questions will jog you to use facts.
Yes.
The why questions, you'll start jumping towards emotion.
Yes.
So if you want to get that person to pull those facts out, stay away from the why questions.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Got you,
exactly.
brother.
So once we have that, and we've gone through, we dig deep into what really drives them, what emotion really drives them to do the things that they do.
Got you.
Okay, and that's where the start of the whole finding your why statement comes from.
Got you.
It starts with what drives you inside. Most of the time, it's motivation. Jim Rohn said that motivation gets you started.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, motivation gets you started, but habits keep it going.
Let's go.
Habits.
Let's go.
So if you have a habit of doing something that is fulfilling for you, and you don't know what it is, that's what the person, the partner, is drawing out of you.
I was talking to my new teammate, Joseph Gross, and he mentioned that, he's big on principles, being able to attach those things to principles in your life that are important and what you value. And we mentioned that. We talked about that. I can motivate people all day.
All day long.
You can charge me up and I'll just go motivate them. However, if I'm not there that day and that person doesn't already have a habit to get moving, what's driving them? What's giving them that spark? Right? It's like the people who you see dragging because they don't have that cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So how do you still move without that coffee? Motivation will get you started. And I love what you said. Habits, if you've built those in, those will keep you going.
That's right.
Because you already got to build in you to do it and accomplish whatever you set out to do.
It's your lifestyle.
Let's go.
It's your lifestyle. You set it up.
Man. All right, my bad, Mr. J. I got excited. So, bam, motivate this guy.
So motivate this guy.
Yeah.
And basically what you're doing is you're trying to find out what makes them feel
Got you.
the most. Okay. Feel good about doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. And you just really have to dig down deep. You know. So find out ask those what questions to figure out what the emotions are. And then once you find those emotions, start drafting your identify your themes. What is that emotion? What is that contribution that they're doing? Is there a theme throughout their stories? And then figure out your why statement.
That's important, I think, when you're doing the work. And we love to say that, right? Doing the work. Because the individual now has to really think about what drives them, what motivates them, what gets them going. So when they're putting it all together, and they got a wingman now, they have to be open and vulnerable a little bit. I think that's some things we forget. You got to be vulnerable if you really want to find your why, and you have a teammate that's willing to go through this process with you. Because we always think about the person who's there to I got you.
Right.
But on the other end of that, if you're the person who's trying to find your why and you've identified someone who you trust to help you dig that out, then you have to truly be vulnerable enough to open up all those things, those locked treasure chests of stories that you've had stored away for a while.
That's right.
So when you get those out, Mr. G, so what you're saying is put them all together just like the process. Hey, man, I'm your wingman. What I'm hearing is A. The theme I'm seeing is B. Do you see the same thing, right?
There you go.
It's kind of like with the professional coaching gig.
That's right.
No whys. We don't ask open-ended or closed questions. We ask open-ended only. But you let the person go on a journey. That's dope.
That
man.
is. That's the way to do it.
So when they get there, they identify these themes. We come up with the statement. You only get one why.
You only get one why.
Oof.
One why statement. That's it.
And I like what you said because that's kind of cool at the book that they put it that way. If it's a statement that you ain't willing to tattoo in your body, you might need to reevaluate the statement.
You got to write it over. Just polish it up some because it's not quite there yet.
Gotcha. But the substance.
Right.
The substance. So it might sound like we said we don't want to get rid of it and throw it away because it doesn't sound great or like something you put on a meme.
Right.
But the substance is there and the work is there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm ready now. Look, I'm going to go out there and help some folks find their whys.
Help them find their why.
A 78.6 FM Yomitan. Hey, always, always, always. The third segment, we mentioned the Air Force Wounded Warrior Wellness and Resiliency Team. I haven't been a part of that group this month as much as I'd like to because I was traveling. But I've been watching. And the one thing we are talking about this month is the month of mental health awareness, right? One of the things that I've been really pushing out there to friends and family is you can't support, understand, and say you really appreciate mental health awareness if you don't have an understanding and appreciation. And when I say that, I mean that in a certain way of mental illness. You have to understand the mental illness and how it may affect people around you. Have an understanding that there's folks walking around with all kind of chronic illnesses, mental illnesses, and also the things that we might go through. People, it affects them differently. So we can't say, I get stressed too. I get depressed too. I get anxiety too. Do not compare your pain to someone else's. Your movie is not the same as the person next to you. They've gone through different chapters than you. Their book is different than yours. So I say that to say this, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome, Mental Health Awareness Month is so important to understand that everybody has a different movie going on. So tune into yours. Take care of yours. You are the writer, director, the editor, the videographer of your movie.
That's right.
You got to take care of it. It is your precious gift to this world. Your mind is a precious gift to this world. Take care of it. If you need to sit down with someone, do that. If you need to get a coach, like we were just talking about, a wingman, do that. If you need to read a book that's going to bring you back to something positive, watch something that has positive energy. Take care of the gift that is your mind.
That's right.
Mental health is so important. Mr. G, as always, man, I'm so grateful for you. Finding your why, guys, if you haven't been listening as an individual or as a group, there's different ways to get to that point to where you know why you do what you do.
Yes.
And if you know why you do what you do, you know why you get up in the morning.
Exactly.
You know why what gets you through the day.
Yes. And you get home at night.
Yes, go.
And you are just fulfilled.
Fulfilled. I did what I needed to do because that is my why.
That's right.
To take care of others, to inspire, to motivate.
That's
to
right.
be with my brother and to share this with the world.
Amen.
See you guys next week. You are loved and there's nothing you can do about it.